morning, everyone. Welcome. Good to see everyone. Mostly everyone. Kidding. No, we're excited to get going. It's been a long summer. We're excited to. We've obviously had some changes, some new faces that are joining us, and I think tomorrow. Today and tomorrow really starts the process. We say it every year. You start. I don't care how many changes you make in a year or how much of the same team you bring back. You start as a collection of players, and tomorrow is the process of starting to build a team. And so that's what we're excited for. The Chief and I have spent all summer kind of putting together the plan. And him and his coaching staff are ready to roll tomorrow. I guess from a housekeeping standpoint off the top, just a medical update. We're in pretty good shape. Unfortunately, we had a tweak here leading up to camp. Max Domi has got a lower body injury. We anticipate it's day-to-day. We'll see how he is tomorrow. We anticipate he's probably not going to start full tomorrow. But hopefully shortly thereafter, he will be good to go. So with that, fire away.
Thanks, Brad. Please wait for the mics. We'll start here with Ryan Leslie.
Chief, just a thought on what maybe excites you as you get set for another camp here, but a year under your belt. What excites you most about, I guess, what's in front of you and the message that you want to instill in the group?
Well, going back to last year, I really like our team, our players. Just their attitude and their work ethic is, it's always great to work with guys that work extremely hard and practice and are prepared. But I guess, we lost a player, a real good player here, but we added three new players to our lineup. And I'm excited about that. I know Tree talked about DNA last year, and I thought that Tree did a hell of a job of changing that over the summer, adding these players. So I'm excited to see where they fit in and how they look, and try to find some chemistry with players and things like that. So it's a change. We all know that. Losing Mitch and bringing in three new players, it's a little bit of a change here for sure. What excites me is I don't have to hear core four anymore. Hopefully I don't have to hear it from you guys the whole season.
Kevin?
For one of you or either of you, whichever, I'm over here there, Tree. You're obviously a veteran team. You're obviously in win now mode, and for teams like that, young players often have a more difficult time breaking through. What chance does a young player, I'm thinking Easton Cowan, but it could be any of the guys on your horizon, what chances do they likely have of breaking through in this camp?
Well, I'll start. I mean, at the end of the day, we talk about our players and our team every day, Chief and I. At the end of the day, he gets to fill out the scorecard, right? There's opportunity here. If you just look at our roster right now, there's more bodies than there is seats, right? So that to me is a good thing, right? A lot of times, and let's be honest, you can write in some of the names. We know who the names are, but a lot of times you'll come into camp and all the seats are full. There's competition, and yeah, if you can help us win, if you're 20 or 35, we don't really care what your birth certificate says. If you can help us win, you're going to get an opportunity. I think Easton's at the point now, and it happens with a lot of young players. We all get excited, right, for the 18-year-old, 19, the new face. It takes time to develop physically. It takes time to develop your game. I think him going back, especially last year to London, was 100% the right move. He had an exceptional year. He won a championship. He got to experience a lot of things. World Junior, went through a lot of the development, not just on the ice, but off the ice. I think he's ready now to come and try to push to be on the team. Now, is that now? Is that October? Is that December? Is that a year from now? The players will decide. And it really does come down to that. The players tell us. They tell us each day. They'll tell us at the end of camp. And so that's what the next 3-ish weeks are for.
Yeah, I agree. I think that camp will, players will show what they can do in camp and in the exhibition games. And if Easton or another player is the best fit for the team and helps the team, then we'll put them in that position.
Mark?
Brad, how do you feel about what you were able to do to fill the void after Mitch left, and what do you see as the potential for the forward group moving forward here?
Yeah, and we've talked about it. I mean, from like for us now, we've turned the page, right? We're moving forward. We wish Mitch all the best, but our focus is on our team, not what was. It's what is now. And I said at the time, you're not just replacing him, right? We can all break it down however you want. To me, it's not replacing 100 points. Somebody's going into that spot, right? And they're going to have production and all the rest of it. So to me, it was rounding out the roster, and I feel good about it. But the reality is, we'll see, right? We're going to watch now and see where everybody fits, right? We've got 100 napkins with a lot of stuff written down on it. That will change after tomorrow when you start to build chemistry and who fits with who. And I like the depth of our center ice. Like if you look at it, I like the depth of our center ice, not just the 4 guys in the middle. We've got lots of guys, options to play in the middle. I like the depth sort of throughout our lineup. I like sort of our bottom of our lineup. I think we've increased the depth there. Again, obviously we've lost a player that touched a lot of parts of the game. So the guys that we brought in can kill penalties. They can handle some different jobs, but I'll say it again. We'll see how everything fits as we go forward here, and it'll, like I said, it's going to be a process of building the team.
We'll go Terry Koshan.
Greg, question for you. Does the Domi injury impact at all? And again, Tree's saying it's not major, but what you plan to do on the right side to start, and how do you look at that? Is it an addition as this goes on, or not so much a revolving door, but is it Michelli, Domi? I'm talking the top line, obviously.
Yeah. No, for sure, Max not be able to hit the ice there tomorrow certainly impacts it a little bit, but I don't think he'll be too long, and he'll be back out there, and he's definitely one of the guys that we considered getting a look there and see what he can do. Obviously, we're looking for, with Matthews and Nyes, they formed some great chemistry last year, but with a guy like Mitch out of the lineup, you're looking for somebody that can make some plays and guys that can pass the puck. Little give and go with Matthews and Nyes. So Michelli's a good playmaker, we know that, and we've seen that, and obviously Max is one of those guys too. But again, we'll see how it looks and how it goes, and it might not be those guys if it doesn't work. We gotta figure that out, right? So.
Josh Clipperton.
Brad, just over here on your right. You obviously have a history with Dylan Dubé from Calgary. I'm just wondering, not asking if you're planning on signing any of those guys, but what calculus would an organization have to go through, especially in Canada, knowing the attention, the potential blowback of adding one of those guys?
Yeah, I heard there was some noise out there. Well, I'd say a couple things. First of all, we're not focused on that right now. We're focused on the 73 players we've got here right now and sort of figuring out where that fits. I'd say as a general statement, I don't normally talk about any player that's not either under contract or a potential free agent or anything like that. Obviously, let's all just be clear, there's special circumstances around those players. You'd have to be very comfortable. At the end of the day, it hasn't been a focus of ours right now. The league has put in some guidelines of when those players are eligible and all the rest of it. But you'd have to be very comfortable. Obviously, you mentioned Dylan. I had Dylan as a player. I know Dylan. But in all honesty, our focus right now is sorting through, like I said, we've got too many guys for the few chairs that we have left right now. That's going to be our focus right now. But like in any player you bring in your team, you've got to be comfortable not only on the ice, but off the ice and be familiar with history and background and all the rest of it. And in certainly that case, we would have to go through a process that with everything that's happened. So that that really hasn't just been a focus of ours right now. We're trying to sort through the bodies we have.
Pierre LeBrun?
Question for Brad. Brad, there's some pretty big names around the league that haven't signed extensions yet that are entering the final year of their deals. I'm wondering how much attention you're paying to that, and in that context, how you balance your ability to, because you do have cap flexibility this year, to add to your team in season, but also keep your powder dry potentially for something next summer.
Yeah, the player, history has shown, there's a lot of players that don't sign right now that usually get signed. We're focused on our group right now. It's a good segue, Pierre, into Anthony Stolarz. Anthony's got a year left. We've been engaged with Anthony and his representatives. Nothing to announce today. Nothing to announce right now. We'll see what the day brings, but we're hopeful to find a good outcome there. I don't get into a whole lot of discussion about contracts. We're seeing if it can fit. It's got to work for the player. He's got to feel comfortable. It's got to work for us. I'm confident until proven otherwise that we can find something that's going to work, and hopefully we can do that in short order.
Chris Johnson here in the front row.
Brad, since you've opened the Stolarz door, I'm just wondering, what gives you confidence in the tandem that you saw based on last year with him and Joe? And, if you can get a deal done, why would you want that to be locked in here for years to come?
Well, I think that, number one, they played real well together. I think we were sitting up here, we were sitting up here last year, and that was a big question mark for our team, if you remember. We're like, neither one of them had their bodies of work were nobody had taken the ball and run with it for 40 plus games, and I think in both their cases, they both had good years last year. I thought they support each other well, and again, I think in the league, unless there's a handful of guys left that are those guys that are going to play 60 games, 55. Like they're getting fewer and fewer. I think it becomes, it's more of a tandem league. And this year specifically, I think we lost 9 calendar days in this year's schedule from last year's schedule because of the Olympic break. So it's compressed, and with the travel and the back-to-backs and the 3 and 4s, I think you need 2 goaltenders, and we're fortunate we have 2, right? And so we saw it last year. I think they're both real solid goaltenders. I'd like to see if we can continue to keep them both here, and that's going to be the focus here in the next little bit.
Dave McCarthy, middle row there.
Craig, for you, penalty killing last year was, I think, middle of the pack, I think 17th, and obviously you lost a guy that played a lot of minutes in that area. How comfortable are you with that fast of the team coming into the year, and is that an area that you guys are looking to improve upon from last year?
Oh, yeah, for sure, and I thought that during the playoffs it did improve. I thought we got better down the stretch into the playoffs. But we added Wah and Joshua. They're both good penalty killers. They've killed in the National Hockey League for since they've been in the league. More Wah than Joshua, but they're both very capable, and having that right-hand centerman is a nice element to have. We didn't have one last year with draws and things like that. But I think we added 2 real good killers. We brought in Lawton last year. He's got some time under his belt here and how we do things. So I thought he did a good job in the playoffs. So yeah, we lost a real good killer. He was a good killer, Mitch. We all know that. But we added some guys that are going to help.
Andrienne, top row.
Yes, hi. So I know it's very early.
Carl, obviously. Brought in Brandon Carl last year, which really helped our PK. From the time he got here on, he's a great killer from on the back end side. Sorry.
No problem. So I know it's very early in the season, of course, but looking at what happened in May and how it seems like the Leafs have been having issues or trouble winning when it matters the most, how is the team going to change that this year, and how are you going to prepare your older players, but also the new players psychologically to like kind of break that barrier and maybe, you know, make those wins?
Yeah, no, it's a great question, and I don't think there's one answer you can come up with, but there's obviously things that we look into and we're trying to get better in that situation. You know, it's okay to bend in those games, but not break, right? That's what you always say, and I think that we got to get over that hump for sure. That's a big part of it. You know, it's bringing in some new players, I think, is important. We did that. So that'll help in my opinion, but it's just keep working and teaching these guys and trying to get them mentally dialed in for those games. You know, I feel like you come to Toronto in a big game at home, it's a lot of pressure. We all know that, but we got to all be able to deal with it better than we did. And it's something that we obviously talk about, and we're trying to get better there. I don't have a definitive answer like to give you. You can just do this and we're going to be okay. It doesn't work that way. So it's a process. But listen, we're starting training camp tomorrow. I'm not focused on that side of things. I'm focused on training camp. We need to have a good camp, get through camp, and then we'll focus on the next situation, which is regular season. So that's how I do things here in Tree. So that's in the past right now, but it's definitely something that's on our mind.
David Alter, middle row there.
For Brad, Mark Dorino was working with you guys in the summer and looked like he was there at the showcase as well. I'm just wondering if he's joined your staff or if that's still like an ongoing discussion.
Yeah, I don't think we haven't sent anything out yet. No, we'll have an announcement there. Mark will be joining the group here primarily with the Marley side, and then some of the other changes and promotions, and we've added some pro scouts and different folks like that. So we're going to get that out to you. I don't want to break all the news here.
Sean Leathong, top row there.
Question for Coach. Building on what Terry asked earlier about the top line, can you tell us who you're thinking will fit on that right side right now, whether it's one person or who the specific players are that you're looking at?
Well, I guess right now in my head, I look at Domi and Michelli are two guys that, you know, they're great passers, right? They could pass the puck and make plays, and I think that's what that line needs. You got to make a play. So that's where I'm looking at right now. I mean, but will it work? I don't know. I got to see it. I got to, you know, it takes a little time to form chemistry and things like that. Max does have some chemistry with Austin. Obviously, they played together at different points in the last couple of years, but you know, those two guys pop in my head right now that I want to look at with Matthews and Nyes.
We're going to do three more: Jonas, Ryan, and Josh.
Brad, is it still your desire to add a top six forward? That was something you mentioned in the summer.
Yeah, I mean, it's not been from a lack of trying. There's not a lot of them out there that everybody's willing to hand over to you, right? So I think today's no different than yesterday and the day before. It's going to be tomorrow. You're always looking to try to improve your team, right? It was. I think league-wide, it was a slower summer, right? There was, and we can all come up with our, you know, our reasons. We looked at it, you know, a couple weeks before the draft, and you're like, you know, there's a lot of teams with cap space, and there wasn't a ton of movement. In most cases, teams kept their players. So yeah, we're gonna the general statement, right? It's a cliche. Wherever we can try to improve our team, we're going to try to improve our team. And yeah, we would like to add in that location, but again, trying to find that player that is A, available, B, at what cost. We'll keep seeing where that lies. But what we have now is we're going to start to have a little bit of, you know, some information, more information for us of where our group fits. And certainly, you know, we talk a lot about offense, and and we've brought in some players, and Chief's talked about some guys who can help create offense. But we got to giving up less. The less you give up, the least you have to score. So that's continue to be a focus of our team, is making sure we're solid defensively. We took, as we did last year.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Can I ask you both just about the blue line defensively and Morgan Riley, what you've noticed about him the off-season coming in, how important he is, and maybe some of the discussions you've both had with him about his role and expectations?
Well, yeah. Probably the biggest cliche this time of the year is, you walk around and however many guys have gained 15 pounds and everybody's in the best shape of their life, right? It's that time of year. Morgan and I had a real good chat at the end of the year, and real honest chat about where his year was at, what I think he's capable of, what he's capable of, and I'll just say it's something that he took to heart. And I don't know if there was many days that he wasn't in this facility from about a week after the end of the season. I'm real proud of the summer he's put in, right? And he's taken it to heart. And he's a big piece for us. Getting Morgan Riley back to the level that we know he's capable of will have an impact on our team. So, we'll see. We start tomorrow, but he's certainly put the work in, and it's been noticeable.
Yeah, it starts with the work in the summer. He had a great off-season, worked extremely hard. He's in great shape, and he's ready to roll. And I thought that he took steps at the end of last year into the playoffs. That's the Morgan we want to see, and I believe we'll see that here at the start.
Josh?
Craig, where do you see Nick Robertson fitting into your lineup this year?
Yeah, I mean, he's again, like I talked about competition in camp. We got some competition in camp. So, I mean, Nicky's a hard-working player that puts the puck in the net, right? He scores goals, and he's definitely a part of this team, and we'll see where he fits. I mean, I think camp will sort that out and see where everybody fits. So, right now, I can't tell you exactly where he's going to play, and I can't tell you where a lot of guys are going to play. I got to see how they look and where they fit. But Nicky's a valuable player, and we like Nick. Again, he can put the puck in the net, works hard, good skater. So we're glad he's here.